Hello everyone. So today we will be solving another problem on HackerEarth, a practice problem on arrays, which is named minimum operations. So let's try to understand the problem and figure out how to solve it. So you are given an array A of length n and can perform the following operation on the array. So an array is given and we have to perform some operation on it. What is the operation? Operation is select a subarray from A having the same value of elements and decrease the value of all elements in that subarray by a positive integer x. Okay. Also, we need to find the minimum number of operations required to make all the elements of array A equal to 0. Okay. So what this question is trying to make sense is that we are given an array. Suppose we are given an array called 1 1 3 3 3 5 6 and 7, and we need to have a sub array that has the same values. We need to have a sub array that has same values and decrease it to some positive integer x. But again the requirement is that the array should become, all the elements should have values equal to 0, so that x again becomes the same number that is in the array. So the problem says that we need to make all the elements in this array equal to 0, and uh, it should be done by using a operation, by selecting a subarray which has same values and making them equal to 0. So for here, a subarray this 1 and 1 has same values and is a subarray of this array. So in one operation, these two values can be turned to 0. Again, these three can be turned to 0. This 5 alone, this 6 alone, and this 7 alone. So total operations are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So total operations are here. Operations are 5. That is the desired output. Let's confirm this case with the given example. So we are given here 5 as number of size of array, and the values are 2, 2, 1, 3, 1. So the output is 4. So firstly we can turn these 2, 2 into 0, and then 1 to 0, and then 3 to 0, and again 1 to 0. So this is one single operation, 2, 2, and this one again another operation that adds up to 2, and this is third operation and fourth operation for this last one. So the resultant output is 4. So how to approach this? We just need to find distinct subarrays. Okay, and to do that we will simply traverse the array from left to right and keep on checking whenever there is a element that differs from its previous value. So for example, here 1 changes to 3, that is one distinct operation, and from 3 to 5 another change, and 5 to 6 another, and 6 to 7 another. So total counts here are 1, 2, 3 and 4, but our answer is 5. So why so? So that is because in the end there is one extra operation to convert this 7 also into 0. Let me tell you this by another example. So suppose if all the values are similar in the whole array, 4, 4, 4 and 4 and 4, so there is no change. Like here the arrays were changing from 1 to 3 and 3 to 5 and 5 to 6 and 6 to 7. So here we have all the values same, so there is no change, but we have to apply this operation at least once to make all these arrays to 0. So we need to, what we need to do is we need to find change number of changes in array plus 1. that will give us the resultant result. So let's try this and try to implement this in code. We will simply traverse the whole array from left to right, and whenever there is a change in value, we will keep on adding to our counter, and in the end we'll add one additional value. Okay, let's get into the coding part. As usual, I use C++. You can use any other language that you like. Okay, here we have our basic layout as usual. Let's see our input format. The first line contains an integer n denoting number of elements, total number of elements, and second contains the array itself. So let's just input the number of size of array and then declare an array of size n, some additional variables that I usually take, and also we will be needing a counter variable. Let's make it count. So in the end we will be adding one additional value to count. I'm just initializing the counter by 1 here itself. Okay, so firstly let's input the array, that is a of I. Now we need to perform the logic that we built just now. Okay, so let's start traversing from left to right and check the previous values. Okay, since we cannot compare this first value to any of its previous values, since there is no previous value to from index 0, so we will be start checking from the first index. Okay, so this array loop should start from 1 also. Now let's check if a of I is not equal to a of I minus 1. That means this value is not equal to its previous value. Then we will increase the counter by 1, count plus plus. So I think that's it. That's the logic. It's a pretty simple question. Once you understand the questions, it's mostly not too complex. And firstly, try to print the output and see if we are right or wrong. Hopefully this should work. Okay, sample test case is passed. Well, good enough. Hope this works out fine. You see, all the test case gets passed, so it's really great. And let me explain you something more about time complexity and space complexity. Here, how can we optimize it? So firstly, we are using two loops here. Since we are not working on whole array at a single time, we are just referring to previous value. So we can reduce this uh, code from two for loops to single for loop. That you can do is by, firstly we will copy this into above loop. Let's just comment this for now. Provide the braces. Now we are simply doing what? We are taking the input array a of I and then comparing the same result. But here is one problem. This loop we were starting from 1, but we need the value of a of 0 also. So what we will do here is we will add one more condition when I is greater than 0. Okay, now this should work fine. So yeah, that's again working fine. I'm just explaining you how we can reduce this for loop also. Also again, let me tell you something more. The funny part is, since we are not storing the whole, we do not need to store the whole array, since we need just the previous value to compare with the current value and perform this operation. So we are unnecessarily wasting our storage to occupy a whole size of array of a of n. So here you can see the value are 10 raised to 5 into 10 raised to power 5. So this much storage can be saved by just declaring some variables, that is previous and currently, and we can store the values into that. Let me show you how to do that. We will use a previous variable, also the current variable. Now uh, instead of inputting in array, we will use current. So currently storing the last value, and after that what we will do here is previous will equals to current, and here instead of checking a of I, we will check our current value and check it with, compare it with previous value. So simply, instead of storing this whole array, we are just storing our previous value that is required to compare from the current value to get the number of counts. Again, let's test it. Hopefully this works fine. You can see it. Let me just submit it also once and see all the test cases pass. Yeah, so that's great. So the importance of saving this space is, for now you can see all the test cases were passed, but tomorrow you are going to become a software developer, and not just the time, also the space, you have to think how to save it. You cannot just fill in the values unnecessarily in the DB or in the browser itself. So the motive of solving these problems is to become a good developer, become a better problem solver, how you can optimize space and time. So here firstly I saved time here by reducing this from two for loops to one for loop, and again saving a lot of space by, instead of saving whole array, we are just using two variables. So thanks a lot guys. I think you must have learned something from this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. Share to your friends who are eager to learn more things. Thanks a lot.